As elections give the citizens the chance to make their political decisions, constant demand for quality leadership from those they voted into office.
Look at us now, there is nothing, we are starving. Tinubu should please do something.
It's also important to having a Nigeria of everyone's dream. Join ʀᴏɪᴜ as it takes to task seasoned analysts, opinion makers, business professionals, and politicians on issues around politics, policies, governance, and leadership every Monday to Friday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. on your super dial, Mainland 98.3 FM. We'll welcome you, roommates, as we discuss the situations.
Good evening and welcome to the Situation Room on Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. The Situation Room is our daily rendezvous of intellectuals. 4 to 5:30 p.m. we create an environment, right, where we can rub minds, where we can attempt to reach a consensus of thought. My name is Sage Babalola. I'm your host. Today's topic is one that has far-reaching implications for the health and safety of millions of Nigerians. It is a situation that we need to pay a lot of attention to, and that is why it is a conversation that must happen on the Situation Room. For those of you who probably for the first time are catching the program and you're wondering what are they doing here, well, every sectors, and then we create an avenue usually affected by these situations. 90 minutes of strong, important discourse is what we do here at Milan 98.3 FM. I did tell you that today is a day where we're going to focus on the health sector with a lot of emphasis on the proliferation of fake drugs in Nigeria, the influx of fake drugs in Nigeria. We're going to talk about health, we're going to talk about regulation, amongst other things. Floored our markets, the World Health Organization, even drugs. And these aren't just statistics, these aren't just numbers. This represents real families, real lives, people who have lost their loved ones. The healthcare system, idea, can be ineffective or worse, even further complicates the health condition that you're currently trying to treat. The ramifications are very, very severe. It's not only endangering lives, it's undermining public trust in the healthcare system and even legitimate pharmaceuticals. And so we're going to examine the heart of the crisis, from the source of fake drugs, the criminals behind the distribution, to the regulatory failures, to the impact that it has on public health. I told you earlier that we're going to have a conversation with a professional who, I dare say, is on the front line and understands the operations of regulatory bodies who are currently doing the best they can actually to combat this unfortunate incidents that we found ourselves in. The experience and the insights that my guest has is going to shed a lot of light on the urgent need for multifaceted approach in stringent regulation, public awareness campaign like what we're doing right here, and also community engagement. Thank you for being with us today on the Situation Room on Mainland 98.3 FM. Well, my guest is Yusuf Maru Jerome. He's a pharmacist, 27 years in practice, right? And so you can understand why he's the best person for this particular conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, join me as I bring on board my guest for the Situation Room today, Yusuf Maru Jerome, 27 years a pharmacist, as we talk about the proliferation of fake drugs in Nigeria. We'll talk about the implication on health and the need for stringent regulations. Good evening, sir. Thank you for being on standby. We appreciate you joining the show.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Let's have a conversation, or let's start like this, right? In 2022, there was a report that over 100 children had died as a result of consuming contaminated cough syrup in Nigeria. In Gambia as well, in 2023, about 60 children died also from difference. They tell you is the product, is the people that made it. So do you consider the cheaper ones fake, or it's just substandard? Is there a difference between these two terminologies? Please, sir, let's hear your thoughts.
Thank you. Incident of fake drug is prevalent for society because drugs are seen as articles of medicine. Somebody can just pick them well, arrest actually telling them one by one because telling me that with them is drugs as sort of a poison. Even the simplest word referred to as
Sir, is it possible that we call you back because we can barely hear you? There's some sort of lag and it makes it difficult to hear you. Please allow me disconnect so we can call you back. And if you're using maybe earpiece or something, would appreciate if you can disconnect and maybe speak directly into the phone so we can hear you, sir. Please, let's call back immediately. I apologize. I really want us to gain something from this conversation, which would not happen if we're struggling to hear our guests. So permit me to call back and try to extab the proliferation of fake drugs in Nigeria. My name is Sage Babalola. This is the Situation Room. We're talking about the proliferation of fake drugs on the Nigerian market. We're talking about the dangers that it poses to human health and also how regulations can help to combat fake drugs on the market. Mojisola the DG NAFDAC, has been in the news a lot, talking about all the many strides of NAFDAC in stopping or at least attempting to abate the spread of fake drugs in the country. Jerome Mafu is my guest for this evening, right? He's a pharmacist and so he understands the value chain, how these drugs come in and out of the country, amongst other things, which is why we have him as a guest on the program this evening. Sir, are you able to hear us properly? I would like for you to speak so we can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. So please, to the question. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. I will say that drugs, we see them as articles from merchandise. Buy shoe, buy clothes, buy anything somewhere in the market and then sell it to somebody. And sell it to somebody. But drugs are not supposed to be, because they are poison. All of them are, even to the packets of them, they are poison. They cannot explain just anyhow. They will be the way we will anyhow as we want it to be. Drugs are poisons, all of them. So, in other words, for you to know exactly what drugs are all about, we need. Can you hear me?
It's a struggle. We're doing the best we can. We're just speaking out the words.
No.
Lord, this is usually the most uncomfortable part of virtual interviews. Some days it's great, some days it's not great, and we did get warning on social media that phone connections will be very, very terrible this week because of poor supply of diesel to the telecom companies. Lord have mercy. I apologize. I think we should go on a break so we're certain we've established a proper connection before we continue with the interview. I really, really apologize. This is not the plan for the day. My name is Sage Babalola. We're streaming the program live on Facebook and on YouTube, so do well to join us via social media, and you can drop your comments using the live chat option. All right, and then let's see what questions you might have or what angles you'd like us to explore as we make sense of, or well, there's really no making sense of proliferation of fake drugs in the country. We'd also have a conversation about the prescription of the DG NAFDAC, Mojisola, who is asking for the death penalty for anyone who's caught peddling fake drugs in the country. These are more of the angles that we intend to explore as we progress with the conversation. Let's take that break so that I can connect with my guest and be sure that we don't have a problem before we proceed with the conversation. We'll be back.
Oga Police, no worry, I see you. You know you can do the right thing, right? You know you can do without that bribe. You know you don't even have to harass that young man because he is properly dressed. And you think he's a Yahoo boy? You don't even have to assault that citizen whom you have sworn an oath to protect. Yes, we understand that the pay is not good enough to take you home, that you are still wearing a uniform that you bought with your own money 5 years ago. It's no news that the government has not done enough by you. We feel your pain and we wish things could be different. As we continue to call on government to wake up to their responsibilities, we want the police to be our friends, just as it is boldly stated across the various police stations nationwide. And from mainland 98.3 FM, we implore you to do better. We love you and we support you always.
The president must know that this is a bad time for our nation. We must rise to it. They are killing people in the east, in the west, in the south, in the north. We should shut down the National Assembly. Let's shut it down. If we cannot save this country, we stay in our homes.
A new day, a new event. Old actors meet new ones, and a fresh twist adds up to the old subplot. Something unexpected blows up under the sun. But when the elephants fight, and the grass suffers and the ground shakes, we are always plugged in, watching it all unfold right here in the Situation Room. Here, we bring together the main actors to take their turns on pressing issues, dissecting events as they unfold across every sector of human concerns. Stay tuned to the Situation Room with ʀᴏɪᴜ every Monday to Friday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. on your super dial, Mainland 98.3 FM. The Situation Room. We are always watching.
That's why I can say there, the eyes have it.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. My name is Sage Babalola. You're on to the Situation Room on Mainland 98.3 FM. We're having a conversation today about the proliferation of fake drugs in Nigeria, with an emphasis on the effect on health and also how we can use regulations to combat this particular proliferation or influx of fake drugs in the country. I told you that I am joined by a pharmacist, 27 years in practice, somebody who understands the market and all of the steps that it takes for the distribution of medication, and that's why we're having a conversation with him. His name is Yusuf Mafu Jerome, and he joins us via the phone. As I asked the question earlier, right, how is it that we found ourselves in this unfortunate situation? Is there a difference between fake drugs, substandard drugs, and also the variations that we see in prices of medications? Are these usually the indications that a person has purchased the wrong medication? Let's bring him on board once again. Hello, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I can hear you too. Wonderful. Please go on ahead, sir. Like I said, the question we're asking, really, how did we find ourselves in this situation? What constitutes what makes a drug fake? What makes a drug substandard, amongst other things?
Okay. As I said, drugs, they are seen and articles of merchandise, and as long as I'm seeing articles of merchandise, anybody can pick them up. Anybody can pick them up, sell them here, take them to this place, sell them here, and so on and so forth. And there's so much money in it. So many people just said in the drug, but unfortunately they don't know that drugs are poison. All drugs are poison. Those who make them are making them in a way that it is so dangerous for you to analyze, to see exactly what it means, exactly what it can take. Now, it's absolutely ridiculous to see what are you hearing me? I'm hearing some noise at the background.
We can hear you, sir, to the best of our ability.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
Okay. So, because there's so much money in it, or ordinary person can just pick them up and start selling them and thinking it is doing something that is fanatical. Or not, a lot of problems in society. Because drugs are poison, you can't use them anyhow. You can't use them, just that as you are having all any other thing. You can sell drugs anyhow. You can choose any. You can sell anything. But it's not drug. Because drugs are poison.
All right. Maybe we should attempt this call via WhatsApp and not use the direct call. Let's see if we'd have better luck using the social media platform, because honestly, I don't believe anyone can really enjoy the analysis that is being provided by my guest, and I really apologize. I do not understand why this is the case, but well, it's not over until it's over, I guess. Let's see if we'd have better luck using WhatsApp to talk to our guest. I do have a number of sound bites, right, most of which are from the DG NAFDAC WG and if we still struggle with this conversation, maybe we would just listen to those sound bites, open the phone lines and have you contribute. There's enough information for us to contribute, but I really wanted us to do expert opinion first. Let's see if this works out at the end of the day. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, I thought we should use this platform to see. Wonderful, thank God, it's much better. So you were talking about how medication can be poison if you use it wrongly, and how people just go and put their hands on drugs and start to use it.
Yeah. Okay. I was saying that drugs are poison, and because drugs are poison, they are not. In essence, not you. No person is allowed to work by regulation anyway. They are allowed to use them anyhow. Yeah, they are allowed to use them anyhow.
Okay.
As long as it's being dictated, but nobody should use them anyhow. Nobody should talk and do it very well.
All right.
I'm sure.
I want us to have a conversation on prescription. That's where I'm going to. Just like you said, nobody should be able to use it anyhow. Because I'm sure you heard about the closure of the market in Anambra State, for example. And the DG NAFDAC, WG did mention that there were a number of controlled drugs there. For example, antiretrovirals, there's some opioids, for example. They're controlled for a reason. It's so that you don't just use it anyhow. And you cannot get it without a prescription. But they were seen at a warehouse, at least according to the video evidence that was presented by NAFDAC, amongst other things. So talk to us about a prescription. You're a pharmacist. Most people, they walk into a pharmacy without any prescription and they're buying medication in cartons, and then you wonder, are you a retailer? Are you buying it for personal use? And you wonder why they're buying this much quantities without a prescription. And unfortunately, because of the corruption in the system, most pharmacists, it's just for their gain. They sell these drugs to these individuals. They don't ask any questions. Talk to us about how that also constitutes a problem and why we have a number of these medications on the open market.
Okay. It's a very big problem. The drug syndicate that you have to use is a highly a terrible syndicate. I will call it a terrible because it's affecting virtually all. But under normal circumstances, the pharmacists themselves are supposed to be regulated, but nobody is regulating them. No, even the regulation is not as common as we want to. So they are also found to buy and then analyze, just buy and then just say no to. It's very difficult for a pharmacist to openly identify a fake drug from a drug that is not fake. You need to we all are doing the need for you to be able to recognize it. You have to analyze it in the lab for you to know exactly a drug that is fake it's not fake. The producers who are producing these fake drugs they are very technical, very, very, very very. I don't know how to put it. They are very technical. They know what to put in before going for this fake beautifier. Just like by just looking at the tablet, just looking at it on that, then you say, oh, you cannot. It's difficult. So from the beginning, from the regulation down to the allow the pharmacy to handle these drugs on. There was a time I went to business secretary where they sell car. My friend, he was having a problem, and we intended to buy paracetamol for the person to take. But unfortunately, he could not. Unfortunately, he could not. They did not allow us because there's no pharmacist there. Ordinary paracetamol, they will not allow us to buy because there's no pharmacist in there to attend to us, to tell us what to do, what not to do. Because in Nigeria, we allow all and sundry to take care of them all. We are enabling them, allowing them, just. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you. Okay, let's talk about control. At least 70% of the drugs that we use in the country are actually imported. We don't have the capacity to produce the bulk of the medication that we use in the country. We're not there yet. We don't have the facilities yet. We're working on it. Even the vaccines that we use, most of it are either donations or they're imported into the country. The COVID-19 vaccine, the bulk of it was a donation from, the West, right? The shelf life was even very low. And a lot of the vaccines, if you remember during the COVID era, they had to destroy some of the vaccines because it had exceeded the shelf life. Before they finished administering it or before they were able to administer it, most of it were already bad. And so at least 70% of the medication we use in the country are imported. So that would mean that most of the fake drugs that we see are actually brought into the country. And we do have an agency, customs, that is supposed to oversee the in and out of products into the country, right? And I would like to believe that there are experts right there at the border who are able to actually see and certify these medications, either via land, either via the ports, either via plane, or however way they're coming into the country. So talk to us about how these medications are actually able to find their way into the country, bearing in mind that we have a lot of unmanned borders. Our borders are very porous. So yes, there's the factor of smuggling, but talk to us about how we've not been able to deal with that issue of these drugs finding their ways into Nigeria to the point where they're now being sold to unassuming Nigerians.
Okay. These drugs actually supposed to be for, but because they don't meet regulation or they have any problem, they are supposed to be taken off. Because of corruption, this find their way into this country. And these people believe this, they see them as articles of merchandise. They just pick them as the way we pick shoe, we pick anything, and think that we can use them anyhow. Well, we cannot, because they are poison. If we go on and if we go on and try to use them, we see that analyzing them, it's actually telling us more about the drug, the process, how they are being brought. It is basically purely corruption. That's how they find themselves inside the country. But in the case of trying to find out you can do to arrest this powerful. Oh my God! Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
You were talking about
okay.
arresting them.
So what?
You were talking about attempting to arrest the people that
Hello?
are responsible for these operations.
We cannot arrest them because the whole system is corrupt. The whole system is corrupt. Everything. So what we need, we have to return it back to those who want to practice, the professionals who are in charge of drugs. So you can. It's easy to monitor them. It's easy to arrest such a person, deal with such a person, see such a person. Such a person will not allow is what we are going to deal with such a person. He will feel very bad about you. So the best thing to do is to make sure that he doesn't go near any field. We can have some scrupulous individuals who goes on to do such for themselves, thinking, oh, it's money, or can we do that, and the rest. But in essence, allowing the pharmacy to take control of allowing the pharmacy to take control of the process is the best way to handle it. If we don't, we will continue to have this chaotic situation that we have now, that is all over the whole place. Anybody can pick drug, anybody can sell drug, carry. They think it's like cloth, it's like shoe.
It's still the Situation Room on mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. My name is Sage Baba. I asked my guest earlier that most of the drugs we usually come into the country would be able to sort of deal with it or prevent the spread to or how it's being used by people. I'm going to pause on the conversation for a bit so we can listen to the soundbite of the DG NAFDAC, WG=Sola on fake drugs. She had quite a lot to say at a recent interview, but I've taken out just a bit. Babalola.
Drugs are supposed to heal. Drugs are greedy merchants of death. Peddle drugs. Therefore, if something is given to another person to kill that person, I believe death penalty. See, you don't say, oh, I'm going to go to a pharmacy 20 miles away. You just want to get the medicine quickly. And that is the way it's supposed to be. But if you then get that medicine and it's not making you to feel better, or if it is given to children and the children die, or a child dies, whoever makes that medicine should face death penalty. Some of these products are deliberately faked. I mentioned it recently that some products were bought in the coordinated wholesale center in Kano. 4 products for children. None of them had medicine after we tested it in Kaduna. To me, that is unquestionable in terms of what should happen. And that is one of the reasons why our judges must know that drugs kill, and they should react likewise when they are making their judgments. Right now, we are trying to prevent by going to the open markets. We started last year in Kano. There are 4 open markets: Kano, Aba, Idumota, and Onitsha. We did that of Kano last year. It was war. We are doing, as we speak, that of Idumota, Aba, and Onitsha simultaneously with NSA, National Security Advisor. We have over 700 security forces in those 3 states. Why? Because it's a national security issue. Bear in mind, it's not just medicines or food that NAFDAC regulates. We also regulate chemicals. Chemicals that can be made into bombs. So it is a security issue, national security issue, health security issue, and that's why NSA is partnering with us. You want to trade with us in Nigeria, you better trade transparently. You don't trade transparently, we will blacklist you. We will deregister your product. You will not be able to trade with us because it's supposed to be mutual. It's supposed to be mutual. It's not one-sided. So the pre-shipment for, we have stopped them, and these are products that were approved based on what we saw when we went for inspection, what we saw on paper. But you approve for X, unscrupulous importers may do X minus.
That was the DG NAFDAC Mojisola talking about how sometimes there are some people who undermine the efforts of NAFDAC in regulating the kind of medications that come into the country, because when they visited the market, you heard some of the markets that they visited, one of which have generated controversy because other people in the market are saying they're preventing them from opening their shops, they have nothing to do with it, they're disturbing trade. But then most of the medications, or some of them that were taken from that market, actually bore the NAFDAC seal. There were NAFDAC numbers on some of these medications, and she was wondering, how is it that these medications have the NAFDAC number and the NAFDAC seal and they are substandard? It's impossible that you will bring this same medication to us to test in our labs and we would see that it's bad and put our stamp on it. And there in that voice note, we heard that say that there's some unscrupulous elements. They will bring the sample of the medication that they want to be accredited, so to speak, and once they get the go ahead from NAFDAC, they then go ahead to start producing fake drugs using the accreditation that they had gotten from NAFDAC for the good ones that they actually took to the office. What do you think about that, sir? The fact that there are some individuals who have found a way to circumvent the system, to manipulate the system, to continue to sell and move these fake drugs across different parts of the country.
That is exactly what we are trying to see. That's exactly what we are trying to see. We have to discourage individuals from handling drugs, because drugs are supposed to be handled by professionals. If drugs are not handled by professionals, then there will be a problem. We don't want anyhow person handling drugs like as if we are selling clothes, we are selling shoes, we are selling. No. These drugs are poison. Because they are poison, it is difficult for us to
Hello?
You have to put it still on. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you now. Go ahead, sir.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Hello?
Please go ahead, sir.
Hello?
We can hear you. Go ahead, sir. We can hear you. All right. Let's listen to another soundbite, right? Aside from the DG NAFDAC, Ms. Mojisola Adeeye, we also have Dora Akuyili, one woman who fought tooth and nail just so that we can even enjoy the kind of respite that we're currently enjoying at this moment. I mean, it's bad, but a worse situation was turned into bad. I guess I could say that thanks to the effort of the late Dora Akuyili. And she did say something about corruption within the health sector as well. We're streaming the program live on our Facebook platform at Mainland 98.3 FM. We're also on YouTube at Mainland 98.3 FM. The topic of discussion is the proliferation of fake drugs in the system, the impact on health, and also the need for stringent regulations to prevent the influx of these fake drugs in the country. Let's take a listen to Dora Akuyili, and then we come back, reconnect with Mr. Jerome so we can talk about some of the prescriptions or how we can rectify the situation. We might have to open the phone lines earlier than usual because we need to find a way to get on top of the situation that we found ourselves with the unstable connection. So what we can do is maybe open the phone lines early and get your feedback. All right, please bear with us. We apologize for the disruption. Let's take a listen.
Bribery in all sectors. I don't think there's any sector in Nigeria that is honestly left out. I cannot start lying out of patriotism. There's no sector that is left out. But the worst felt area is in health. Because corruption in the health sector is murder. Illegal drug markets resulted in chaotic drug distribution channel. Even commercial buses became veritable means of drug trade. It was so terrible that we didn't even have statistics of what level of fake drugs we have in this country. And the problem was so bad that it was not even just limited to drugs. They tried intimidation and harassment and, threatening my life. They didn't succeed. Now everybody is joining the bandwagon of anti-crusade to sanitize drug distribution, fake food, stop fake and unwholesome food, and strengthen regulation in this country. Today as we speak, our citizenship as Nigerians, we cannot take it to the bank. We want to bequeath to our children a Nigerian citizenship that they can take to the bank. Otherwise, God will not forgive us.
Welcome back to the Situation Room on Mainland 98.3 FM. Thank you so very much for staying with us. And I once again really, really deeply apologize for the interruption you've had to endure throughout the course of the program. Sometimes the statistics that have been provided, right, where at least 100,000 children, Nigerians, die because of fake drugs. I mean, we saw the incidents in 2022 where over 100 children had died because of a fake cough syrup that had proliferated the market. Now, children cannot complain because they don't know how to air their feelings, and adults can quickly tell that something is wrong after consuming fake drugs. But what can a child really do? And that's why we had the casualty figure more when it comes to children. But we have a guest joining us, right? Our guest today joins us, Yusuf Mafu Jerome, right? He's a pharmacist. He's been a pharmacist for 27 years, someone who understands the market, and that's why we have him on board. And so I would like to ask a question, really, as we go back into the question and answer segment of this. The cost of healthcare in Nigeria is very, very hectic. For tests alone, you're spending 100,000, 150,000 just for a test. In fact, some hospitals will tell you that they cannot run the test. They'll give you a note to take to another hospital to run the test and bring it back. And even after the diagnosis, when they write the prescriptions for you, you get to the pharmacy, and then the accumulated sum of the medication you have to buy over a long period of time is in 200, 500,000, and they don't have money. And so these individuals resort to roadside drug sellers. And when I say drug, I'm not talking about hard drugs. I'm talking about medication. Because they cannot afford this medication at the pharmacy, they just go to the bus stop. There's a woman who's selling medication in a plastic bucket at the bus stop, who's selling it for 3 times the reduced amount of money. They buy this medication thinking that they're buying healing, but unfortunately the medication they've bought will further cause the health of whoever they're treating to deteriorate. So what I'm trying to drive at here is talk to us about how the rising cost of healthcare in Nigeria has further exacerbated the need for people to go and buy medication from places that do not have any form of credibility, any form of accreditation, any form of regulation whatsoever. Let's hear from you, sir.
This is a very big problem that we will have to do something about barbarity in Nigeria. This medication, as we have seen, it causes so much problem. Now, because of the cost, because of the excess of what we cannot, but in essence, maybe we need to reduce the head so much, and we will have to cut down the cost of head. Now, the whole government have to subsidize as much as possible the healthcare system for Nigerians. We need the government to subsidize as much as possible the healthcare system so that people don't just go to anyhow to buy drugs, to buy anyhow medication, just to take anyhow the drugs and so on and so forth. The health of individual is at stake. So the government needs to regulate, not only regulate, they need to subsidize as much as possible the healthcare need of Nigerians.
All right. Let's have yes. It's okay. We can actually hear you. What kind of policies do you think the government need to put in place? Maybe we should just wrap up the interview session of the conversation and take feedback so we can use that to really converse even further. But before we end the question and answer session of the conversation, what sort of government regulations do you think have become necessary to deal with this issue? Earlier in your analysis, you had mentioned that let pharmacists be pharmacists, let pharmacists be the one in charge, let pharmacists test this medication in the laboratory, let them play their role. And that's one thing that you think should happen because pharmacists are oftentimes overlooked, right? So aside from that, what kind of regulations do you think have become necessary? Government regulations that have become necessary? What kind of collaborations, inter-agency collaborations have become necessary if we're serious about minimizing the amount of fake medication that we have on the open market?
Well, the regulation I'm talking about is purely for us to leave the professionals to handle drugs. Leave the professionals to handle this thing belongs to them. They study it, they know everything. I mean, it's also no use allowing anybody anyhow to enter inside the drug industry. They should do everything possible to make sure that they do all and allow the whole process to be carried out by the professionals. Simple, purely. If we are going to collaborate, we're collaborating with people who are knowledgeable in the field. It's okay. Or you cannot just collaborating with people that are not knowledgeable in the field, who just see it as if they are doing this and just we will do it like that. We don't take them and we are using it before. We were using it before. It has not doing not anything. It will not help the system. So far now, what we need to do is to collaborate in a way that the professionals are the ones that are handling the drug. So once they are the ones handling the drug, it is easy for us to control them. It is easy for us to analyze them. It is easy to try them in any form.
All right. I'll get your final thoughts on the punishment. Yes, on the punishment for those who bring in this fake drugs. The NAFDAC DG is prescribing the death penalty. They should be killed. That's the punishment she thinks is befitting for people who bring in fake drugs. Do you think that's too stringent of a punishment? And if it were up to you, in what ways do you think we can punish those who bring in these fake drugs, those who sell these fake drugs, advertise these fake drugs, such that it can act as a deterrent from the continuous movement of these drugs across our sector? What punishment do you think is befitting? And do you agree that the death punishment, according to Mrs. Mojisola Adeye, do you think that's the most befitting punishment for people who are found selling or distributing fake drugs?
Okay, I collaborate with her very well, especially for children, for those who are producing for anything for children. They need to be put to death so that they will know, the others will learn that doing this thing is something that they need to look into very well. You can't just produce anything for children to take anyhow, for children to take anyhow. You hear the NAFDAC they say that there's no drug in it, there's no active ingredient in those drugs at all. It means that the children will just be swallowing and swallowing anything. At the end of the day, they will look more sicker, look more sicker than we expect them. So I collaborate with her very well in the issue of death energy.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time. We do appreciate you. We also should apologize to you for the interruption. I'm sure that it was something of an inconvenience as well for you, the interruption mid-interview. But we hope that hopefully we have better connection moving forward. We did have a conversation with Yusuf Mahfou Jerome, a pharmacist, 27 years in practice. And we got his perspective on the conversation around the proliferation of fake drugs in Nigeria. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. Have a wonderful evening, and maybe someday in the future we could talk to you about this again. Thank you very much. All right. The regards to the question and answer session, that's really all we can take. Again, I should apologize for the little issue that we suffered with this interview. We really apologize, and I wish there was a way that we can make it better. But let's just hope that countless lives are actually being lost every year because of this situation. And it's not a new thing. As far back decades, it's been decades trying to fight this menace of influx of fake drugs in the country. And the question really is about how these drugs find their way into the system, because like I told you, the bulk of the medication that we use here are not made here, so they're imported into the country. So what about quality control? Who tests for these things before they come into the country? Who tests how well these things are prepared before they come into the country? The content, what laboratories, how updated are these laboratories that are used to test the medication? How is it that some of these fake medications have been able to get NAFDAC numbers? Because this is a concern that was raised by the NAFDAC DG Mojisola Adeye, that some of the medications that were seized at the Anambra market, for example, bore NAFDAC numbers. And then she said some of these individuals who trade with them, or those who bring in medication or import medication, they do bring samples to the NAFDAC office. They test it, they see that it's A-OK, and then next thing you know, one that they got accreditation for, and now there's a problem of fake drugs in the market that actually bear the NAFDAC seal. And if anything, she's calling for the death penalty for anyone who's been caught selling or distributing this medication. One concern that we also raised is the cost of medication in the country. Unfortunately, we're friends with the United States when it comes to the supply of medication. I believe that the West is one of the biggest donors of medication to the country, and even those who buy and bring it to the country for the sake of sale or trade, they bring it from the West as well. We oftentimes patronize India, right? And 80% come in via importation. So why is it that the bulk of the medication we have here are fake? So what are the agencies that are supposed to see this process through? I'm talking about the office of the NSA as well, because this is a security problem, she says. She says they don't only control medication. Even in that soundbite I played you heard her say that they also regulate chemicals, and many times these chemicals can be used. You'll be surprised that say it. And so it's not just even about health concern, it's about national security, and that's why they're working with the NSA, collaborating with the office of the NSA, the National Security Advisor, to clamp down on this fake drugs, this fake medication, and also these chemicals. And because of the rising cost of medication in the country, the US aid stoppage, or well, the pause of US aid, let's call it that, because it's a 50-day pause at this time, which means that a lot of the donations, the medication, people would rather go buy medication from the roadside. medication that cannot be traced. Sometimes there's no NAFDAC norm, but these medications don't have that, so you don't know. But because it's cheaper, you just buy it. And that's why I asked my guest earlier in the day that what's the difference between fake drugs and substandard drugs or substandard medication, because sometimes you go to the pharmacy and you say you'd like to buy antibiotics, and then they tell you this particular brand is 5,000 naira, this particular brand is 3,000 naira, and then you ask the question, what is the pricing based on the effectiveness? Is the pricing based on the quality of the material that is used? What is the difference in the variation in the price? What is it about? And they tell you, it's just because of the products. Is the maker, is the brand. One is international, one is national, and you're wondering, okay, and then you buy. So is that fake? The cheaper one, does that make it fake or substandard? How do you gauge? How do you know? What do you check for to be sure that the medication is real or fake? I would like to get your perspective on these things, but before we go on the break, because we're due for a break at 5, a commercial break at 5, and before we go on that break, right, let's listen to one of the sound bites. And before I start taking phone calls, I'll play you and talk to me. Do you know anybody who's been a victim of fake drugs? Anybody who has lost a child, lost a husband, lost a wife, a mother, a father, lost a loved one because it's passing? I can't wait to hear from you, but let's listen to this. We'll be back soon.
Drugs are supposed to heal. Drugs are not supposed to kill. But drugs can kill if greedy merchants of death peddle drugs. Therefore, if something is given to another person to kill that person, I believe death penalty is deserving for such a person. When you are ill, you don't say, oh, I'm going to go to a pharmacy 20 miles away. You just want to get the medicine quickly. And that is the way it's supposed to be. But if you then get that medicine and it's not making you to feel better, or if it is given to children and the children die, or a child dies, whoever makes that medicine should face death penalty. Some of these products are deliberately faked. I mentioned it recently that some products were bought in the coordinated wholesale center in Kano. 4 products for children. None of them had medicine after we tested it in Kaduna. To me, that is unconscionable in terms of what should happen. And that is one of the reasons why our judges must know that drugs kill. And they should react likewise when they are making their judgments. Right now, we are trying to prevent by going to the open markets. We started last year in Kano. There are 4 open markets: Kano, Aba, Idumota, and Onitsha. We did that of Kano last year. It was war. We are doing, as we speak, that of Idumota, Aba, and Onitsha simultaneously with NSA, National Security Advisor. We have over 700 security forces in those 3 states. Why? Because it's a national security issue. Bear in mind, it's not just medicines or food that NAFDAC regulates. We also regulate chemicals that can be made into bombs. So it is a security issue, national security issue, health security issue, and that's why NSA is partnering with us. You want to trade with us in Nigeria, you better trade transparently. You don't trade transparently, we will blacklist you. We will deregister your product. You will not be able to trade with us because it's supposed to be mutual. It's supposed to be mutual. It's not one-sided. So the pre-shipment for that particular scheme, we have stopped over 180 products from coming into the country. We have stopped them, and these are products that were approved based on what we saw when we went for inspection, what we saw on paper, but you approve for X. Unscrupulous importers may do X minus.
You're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. The sound of Lagos. Chai, my head oh. Oga landlord, why you dey shake like ceiling fan? My village people don't come again oh. This one with your body hot so, you don't do test? Yes, see result oh. Oga landlord, no be your village people. Na malaria, you need Luta. Luta na better medicine. We dey knock down malaria. Oya see am, take am. Thank you Oga Luta. I don't dey kampe. Luta, brand of Artemata and Lumefantrine, is another quality product from Hovid, marketed by Pharmatex Nigeria Limited. If symptoms persist after 3 days, see your doctor.
Everybody say thanks, Luta. Malaria's in big trouble.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is your pilot speaking. Today we have some special passengers on board. 3 Betano members are going to England to watch Aston Villa live. Congratulations, Emeka, Yemi, Ibrahim.
Play with Betano and stand a chance to win an all-inclusive trip to the UK to watch live the big game of Aston Villa versus Tottenham. Betano, proud partner of Aston Villa. Play responsibly. Available only to those over the age of 18. The promo is valid from November 1st to February 28th, 2025.
Oga, this your engine don't kaput. After you made me spend money repairing and repairing, see what you are now saying. Oga, don't be my fault now. I sabi work. Now your engine no good. Hello, my engine.
Do you know that one way to get your engine working efficiently is by buying good quality petrol? That is why Dangote Refinery has refined its petrol to straight run clean petrol, which is quality petrol you can trust for all your engines. It's time to care about your engine. Buy high quality Dangote petrol.
Hi, Emeka.
Yemi, I learned that Betano is sending 3 football fans to England to watch the big game of Aston Villa versus Tottenham for free. Imagine us going there together. That would be amazing. Okay, bye.
What? He hung up to play.
Play with Betano and stand a chance to win an all-inclusive trip to the UK to watch live the big game of Aston Villa versus Tottenham. Betano, proud partner of Aston Villa. Play responsibly. Available only to those over the age of 18. The promo is valid from November 1st to February 28th, 2025.
Chai, my head oh. Oga landlord, why you dey shake like ceiling fan? My village people don't come again oh. This one with your body hot so, you don't do test? Yes, see result oh. Oga landlord, no be your village people. Na malaria, you need Luta. Luta na better medicine. We dey knock down malaria. Oya see am, take am.
Thank you Oga Luta. I don't dey kampe.
Luta, brand of Artemata and Lumefantrine, is another quality product from Hovid, marketed by Pharmatex Nigeria Limited. If symptoms persist after 3 days, see your doctor.
Everybody say thanks, Luta. Malaria's in big trouble.
Good morning, my people. Now your pilot dey hail una. Today we get special passengers for inside plane. 3 Betano members they go England to go watch Aston Villa match live. Big congratulations to Emeka, Yemi, and Ibrahim.
Play with Betano and you will get chance to enter UK for free to go watch the match between Aston Villa and Tottenham. Betano, na proud partner of Aston Villa. Play responsibly. Now only for people who don't pass 18 years. This promo go dey run from November 1st, 2024 to February 28th, 2025.
Oga, this your engine don't kaput.
After you don't make me repair. See the kind thing when you talk.
Oga, don't be my fault now. I sabi work. Now your engine no good. Hello, my engine.
My people, una sabi say one way to make sure say una motor and generator engine them work wella na to dey buy ogbonge quality petrol. That na why Dangote Refinery don't find way to refine their petrol to give us ogbonge quality straight run petrol. This na better quality petrol wey you fit trust o. Time don reach to care for una engine dem. Buy better quality Dangote petrol.
Chai, my head oh. Oga landlord, why you dey shake like ceiling fan? Eh? My village people don't come again oh. This one wey your body hot so, you don't do test? Yes, see result oh. Oga landlord, no be your village people oh. Na malaria, you need Luta. Luta na better medicine wey dey knack down malaria. Oya see am, take am.
Thank you Oga Luta. I don't dey kampe.
Luta, brand of Artemata and Lumefantrine, is another quality product from Hovid, marketed by Pharmatex Nigeria Limited. If symptoms persist after 3 days, see your doctor.
Everybody say thanks, Luther. Malaria's in big trouble.
You're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. The sound of Lagos.
You are listening. Yeah, know what this is. 98.3 Mainland FM.
Fantastic conversations.
Great to see you again. It's good weather. You want to agree with that?
Yeah, I love weather. Trending music. Traffic updates.
Ojoba and Charity intersections is good. There's no cause for alarm.
Sports. And everything fun is right here on Mainland 98.3 FM. Don't touch that dial.
Things seem anxious and uncertain. I understand the hardship you face. I wish there were other ways, but there is not. If there were,
in our quest to bring to the table issue-based conversation around nationhood and development, we have made 4 to 5:30 p.m. Monday to Friday the perfect time to welcome you into the Situation Room as we continue to build the narrative about public service and accountability.
Mr. President, this Senate needs to know. Mr. President, this Senate needs to lend its voice to the plight of these people. Mr. President, there is nowhere I can say it except here. This is why I'm elected. If I cannot say these things on this floor, sir, I better resign and leave.
As elections give the citizens the chance to make their political decisions, constant demand for quality leadership from those they voted into office.
Look at us now, there is nothing. We are starving. Tinubu should please do something.
It's also important to having a Nigeria of everyone's dream. Join ʀᴏɪᴜᴜ as it takes to task seasoned analysts, opinion makers, business professionals, and politicians on issues around politics, policies, governance, and leadership. Every Monday to Friday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. on your super dial, Mainland 98.3 FM will welcome you roommates as we discuss the situations.
Welcome back. The Situation Room on Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. Sage Babalola is my name. The program, like I said earlier, is the Situation Room, and we have a particular situation on our hands: the proliferation of fake drugs in the market, the influx of fake drugs in the market. It's been in the news for at least a week now, especially with the clampdown of NAFDAC on different markets across different parts of the country, and the trucks and trucks and trucks of fake medication that has been accosted thanks to the effort of NAFDAC and our security operatives. Let's take your feedback. Let's take your contributions. Do you have a friend that has died as a result of fake drugs? Do you know anyone who's lost a loved one and you want to share that story? What ways do you think we can begin to clamp down? What policies do you think we need to put in place? What collaboration, what interagency collaboration do you think needs to happen so that we do not see a continuation of this incident? Talk to me, 0913-6000-410. Send a message, 0913-6000-430. Facebook, YouTube, where we're streaming live at Mainland 98.3 FM. Good evening. Welcome to the program.
Good evening, Sis Babalala.
Good evening.
I'm WG
Welcome.
And I'm in total support of what the NAFDAC director says. Death penalty. I think death penalty and maybe the government should the property where fake drug or contraband or anyone is being found they should forfeit that building to the government. Why is somebody who is sick, who is trying to remain safe, who still buy fake drug and play? And some people who does these things are very, very aware that these are fake drugs. They will still take it to the market to go and repair just because they want to make money. And every now and then we compare death penalty to whoever.
Thank you so much for calling. Yes, let's take another phone call. Hello. Hello.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening to you.
This is from Angola.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you. See, we are talking about the fake drugs, Abby.
Yes.
These people are so leader, they also fake me. So when you have a fake leader, it's easy to have a fake drug in the market. Until we have the right people, we will not see the fake drugs again. That's just my little contribution.
Okay. Thank you very much. We appreciate you for said contribution. There's a message on WhatsApp that says, "Good evening, Sage. I support the death penalty for fake drug pushers. It's highly evil to profit from killing innocent persons with fake drugs, but I wish it would be extended to the executive, legislative, judiciary so that anyone caught pilfering the public would also get capital punishment to serve as a deterrent to the killers of innocent and peace-loving Nigerians." Chika there with a message. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening. Welcome to the program.
Hello, my sister. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you.
My sister. You see, I'm
you tell me your name, sir, so I know who I'm speaking with.
Kenny from Sudan.
All right, wonderful. Go ahead.
I'm totally against of fake drugs. You understand? But we want to establish something. What are the policies on ground that will push the people to come and register their products? And when these products are coming in, who are those people at the ports? Because these products are no spirits. They are not air. They come in through the regulatory bodies. What are they doing? Because if there is no receiver, there will not be giver. So it's a two-way thing. In as much as they are giving their satellite on the importance and what to do. You understand? They need to give satellite on their own personnel that are there that are making as a whole lot of money through that process. You understand me? So, you see, it's only in Nigeria that when there's an issue, you want to bring down the whole system because there's a problem. We saw the proliferation of bad petrol and what have you in Nigeria. They did close down the whole state. No, there's how they can go as a post-marketing surveillance, go to market and pick samples. You don't make everywhere rowdy.
Thank you.
The whole of the news in Nigeria now is just drug.
Thank you so very much for calling. We appreciate you. Call the number 09136000410. Let's have a conversation about fake drugs in the Nigerian market. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening, my sister.
Yes.
My name is Tᴏɪᴛᴇ. I'm calling from Adimosho.
All right, welcome.
Yes, my own contribution to this is this. I think those who are in the business of selling drugs of all types should be professional. Let me tell you, in my neighborhood, there is one particular man that has a big store. He sells all manners of things, from tissue paper to toothpaste to cotton bud to football to plastic to everything, and including drugs, including antibiotics, anti-malaria, and all, everything you want you can find, including needles, all manner of things. You see, this is bad enough in our country. It's very, very bad. Let them professionalize the distribution, the supply chain, and the distribution. Just retired nurses that are accredited to sell these things everywhere. You will see sanity. People who have something to
calling. You have a wonderful evening. Hello.
Hello, Lady Lola.
Good evening to you.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
My name is Wire. Calling you from Amuado.
Yes.
This topic you brought this here is very, very important because you brought it just to save life. You see, when we are talking of policies and what of me, somebody who brought a fake drug, how many presidents produce that wanted to kill? Many. Look at how many markets are being closed down. 11,000 plus. And people are not begging, please open it for them. And not only done, the just of market brought bring it to this country, those dubious importers. They go there, they go to the company, I want it to be like this, so a lesser quality. And they want to make a lot of money. So you want to make money, you want to kill other fellow, you want to name other fellow human being like you.
Thank you, Prince Wise. Thank you so very much.
Oh my God.
Thank you. Let's take another one. Hello? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Do make it back. We still have some time on our hand. Hello?
Good evening.
Hello?
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. Can you turn down the volume on your radio, please? Yes. Hello?
Is it okay now?
Yes, it's okay. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going now.
Yes.
The other caller was talking about somebody who is selling all manner of things, including drugs. But you have, right here in Mafuluku where I live, even down to Oshodi, you have a lady who, and there are many of them, the lady will just carry one basin of drugs and they're selling, they're hawking the whole area. And people are patronizing her. So if those drugs are fake, who knows? But as it is obvious, the woman doesn't know anything. She can't even speak English. But yes, she's selling drugs to people, and people are going there to buy. They'll stop it, just selling like a cara. And we are the people that got this payment. She will not be moving about like that.
Thank you very much for calling. We appreciate you. Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Good evening. We can hear you. Please proceed.
I'm calling from Maryland.
Yes.
Yeah, you see, on this issue of fake drug we are talking about, you see, the problem we have now on our hands is that the Nigerian authorities concerned, they think we can cure cancer with Panadol. There is no way Panadol can cure cancer. So the only thing is we have to find a curative measure as dangerous as the crime itself. So I support the idea of executing these people. They are just like the politicians that are looting billions while Nigerians are dying. They should be executed. Because when Madam Akwili was alive, she fought people violently.
Thank you. Thank you very much for calling. Have a great day. Hello. Hello. Please turn down the volume on your radio, please. Hello.
Hello.
Please turn down the volume on your radio. Turn down or turn off your radio, please.
Okay, I'm okay now.
Okay, go ahead, please. Yes, go ahead, please.
Yes. The problem is this wholesale thing. That's the core of the problem. I used to have a pharmacy with a friend, and he went into pharmacy business, but he lost all the money he had because he couldn't face this huge, big importance of drugs into the country. When you go to a Dimota, it's all about wholesaling, and they bring this thing into the country, thinking that they are cheaper. Pharmacists are out of the business. Most of the professionals are not. They don't even have what to do because they are taking over the jobs from them because of big money. Pharmaceuticals it is big money, big time business where pharmacists cannot go into because of importation of this big drugs, very expensive drugs. Go to Idumota and see billions naira sale every day. Go to Idumota, you see it. How much is being exchanged every day in Idumota, at Idumota, and all other places they have mentioned like Onitsha or Aba and Kano. This big time business. Only these rich people, a particular section of the society, they are dominant in this particular business, and nobody is touching them. Because the huge amount of money, they have a lot of money, they have billions, trillions, so you cannot actually face them. That's the problem we are having.
Thank you very much. Thank you for calling. Have a great day. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Okay. Hello. Oh. Try to make it back, alright? It's the Situation Room on Mainland 98.3 FM. Let's read this message whilst we wait for the call to reconnect. Good evening, Sage. So long as the president is not using Medicare in Nigeria, fake drugs will continue. However, I'm glad that NAFDAC has woken up to its responsibility. Whoever is found guilty should be made to face the full weight of the law, and the president should do something about the rising cost of medication in the country. The earlier he does this, the better. Thank you very much. On Facebook, John Bernard Ohi says the government should subsidize the cost of medication to prevent citizens from patronizing those who sell fake drugs. For me, death sentence should be passed on those who are involved in fake drugs. All right, thank you, John Bernard. Hello. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, good evening.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Introduce yourself, please.
Please, this idea of...
Sir, tell us your name. Tell us your name and where you're calling from, sir.
I'm calling from my 12.
All right, go ahead.
Was this idea deliberated in the House of Assembly? Why I'm saying this is when everything about this killing of putting people into legal something that true punishment supposed to be total, including the so-called politicians we have in Nigeria. Those that are siphonning Nigerian money supposed to be supposed to go along with this. I don't know whether you understand what I mean.
So we're talking about fake drugs, the people selling fake drugs in the country. That's what we're talking about.
Fake drugs, we talk about those that are siphoning Nigerian money.
Okay. On another program, you can do that. On this particular one, we're talking about fake drugs, right? And the market, why the market continues to thrive and how we can nip it in the bud. But thank you. We do appreciate you for your insight on the matter. I'll read one more message. I'll play you the rest of the sound bites. Wise words from the late WG=SAW and how corruption in the healthcare sector is the bane of development when it comes to our medical health in the country. Hello, Sage. I'm Prince from Ojualaba, Lagos. On the challenge of fake drugs, let the government open designated centers where in the neighborhood right drugs are sold. The government can partner with health officers, medical practitioners, ensure effective implementation. Moreover, men of customs and excise as well as immigration officers should avoid compromising with importers of fake drugs. Thank you so very much for your time. It's been wonderful. I'll leave you, like I said, with wise words from the late WG=SAW on corruption and how it continues to be a problem across all sectors. We apologize, first of all, for the quality of the program with regards to the virtual interview we had. We will continue to do our best to give you quality programs. My name is Sage Babalola. Have a wonderful evening, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. It's Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos.
Bribery in all sectors. I don't think there's any sector in Nigeria that is honestly left out. I cannot start lying out of patriotism. There's no sector that is left out. But the worst felt area is in health. Because corruption in the health sector is murder. Illegal drug markets resulted in chaotic drug distribution channel. Even commercial buses became veritable means of drug trade. It was so terrible that we didn't even have statistics of what level of fake drugs we have in this country. And the problem was so bad that it was not even just limited to drugs. They've tried intimidation and harassment and, threatening my life. They didn't succeed. Now everybody is joining the bandwagon of anti-crusade to sanitize drug distribution, fake food, stop fake and unwholesome food, and strengthen regulation in this country. today as we speak, our citizenship as Nigerians, we cannot take it to the bank. We want to bequeath to our children a Nigerian citizenship that they can take to the bank. Otherwise, God will not forgive us. And when we talk about inefficiency in educational sector, health sector, political sector, governance and all, everything boils down to corruption. And corruption is not just about giving or taking money. Corruption is about not doing the right thing. And why are we corrupt? Because of lack of understanding. Because we do not understand that we don't need too much. Our wants may be too many, but our needs are very little. And I don't even envy corrupt people because they destroy themselves and destroy their children, generations unborn. And when we look at the way we behave to ourselves and to this country, Nigeria, for which we have no other country that we can call our own, it's all because of bad attitude. That attitude of the past and even the present that we are saying through rebranding, we must change. If we don't change, nothing will change. If we don't change, we will not be able to achieve Vision 2020 because it's human beings that will work to actualize Vision 2020. We will not get it from the air. Angels will not come down. Foreigners will not come here to fix Nigeria for us. They have their own countries to fix. So that change of attitude, which is a critical aspect of rebranding, we must embrace. If we don't embrace it, I'm sorry that we may not be talking seriously. So rebranding is the key. Nigeria of my dream is a Nigeria that Nigeria's people will be so changed in their attitude that we will be in a position to tell the world who we are. That we be in a position to define who we are. Because for too long, people have defined who we are. We need to evolve a Nigeria where we have a sense of pride for our country, where we will love one another, where we will appreciate what we have done and who we are. Right now, we are not even appreciating who we are. We are not appreciating what we have done. Look at Nigeria's role in West Africa through ECOMOG. We brought peace there. Central Africa, Congo, Darfur, and others. Nobody is talking about it. We lost lives, we lost resources. Go to the internet. It is United Nations. Yes, we are working on...
Fantastic conversations.
Great to see you